Brianna, if you're set.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for taking some time, Aidan. I first just want to ask how it's been going down there in San Antonio, especially this being your second year. How's the experience been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I've just tried to learn as much as I can and have an open mindset. And Greg's amazing and so knowledgeable about the game. So I try to learn as much as I can from him, and create new relationships with different guys around the league and everything. So yeah, it's been going well.
With this being your second time going to training camp, what were the things you expected and you learned from last year that you're taking into this year?
You mean January training camp? Second time going to January training camp?
Yeah, the January U.S. Men's training camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Probably just be myself. Stick to the player I am and my identity, and why I've got into this position. So yeah, probably that. Just be authentic to myself.
You all set, Brianna?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, great. Patrick, go ahead.
Hayden, thanks for doing this. Do you feel like an old man now in this group, especially the young crew guys coming in?
An old man? No, not an old man yet. I got a ways to go for that. But yeah, no, it's cool that I could be here with these two guys, Patty and Sean, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to experience this already once. So to kind of be there for them if they need my help, but they're pretty good guys at what they do, so they don't need much help.
How have you seen them kind of adapt to this, to Greg, to stepping up a level? Like you said, this is their first time doing it, and both young guys. So how have they done?
Yeah, they've done great. Um, Shawnee's done great. Patty's done great. I haven't been with Patty much because the goalies do their own little weird stuff, but um, but yeah, no, they've done great. Been super open to receiving information, learning, and they've done well with it all. And it's tough when you play one game at the end, and everything else is just training, so you want to see it live. So we'll see this weekend, and hopefully they all can put their best foot forward.
Obviously, it was a short off season for all you guys after winning the cup, but how do you think having even a shorter off season affects you guys, if at all?
Yeah, I think physically, it's not easy. Obviously, the quick turnarounds and not getting much time off in your body and everything. But I think mentally is the biggest thing. I think it was tough for me. Every day going home was tough, trying to find time to spend time with different family and friends. I didn't make it around to everyone, so that was probably the toughest part of it. But guys in Europe are doing this every off season. They get 3 weeks, so I can't complain much about that. So hey, that's the price of winning, right? It's good problems to have.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think it could be a bit of an advantage heading into camp, just because you'll have been going through this, and obviously you guys kind of start pretty quickly here once February rolls around?
Yeah, fitness wasn't a big problem for us three. We were both all of us were ready to go. And there wasn't much emphasis on us trying to get fit again. So that aspect was nice. And mentally, coming off of a late season and winning it was we were in a sharp place mentally and still ready to perform. So yeah.
How does Wilfried compare with Greg in your eyes? I've talked with Josh and some other guys that know both, but having now worked with both multiple occasions, how do you feel like they compare?
They're different. I think there's pros and cons to every manager. Yeah, they're both great in their own ways. No coach is the exact same. I can't say one's better than the other. I get to work with Wilfred a lot more than Greg, but I've known Greg for a long time, and I know he's a genius in the game, and he's so knowledgeable and knows so much about it. He's always learning, talking to great managers around the world, and yeah, his ideas are amazing, just like Wilfred. So I can't give you who's better, who's worse, but they're both great. They're both unbelievable managers. So yeah,
No, I wouldn't expect that. Thanks, Aidan.
thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Let's go to Clay.
Aidan, how do you sort of, as you accumulate caps and you get that international experience, is that a big point of pride, that number of like, hey, I'm just starting this, but you've got 4, right? And each time you get to participate for your country, can you talk a little bit about what that means?
For sure. I think everyone feels it, whether you're playing in a soccer game or you're a citizen of the United States. I think you feel a bit of pride, right? And I think there's a lot of weight to wearing the badge and going out there representing your country. And I think it comes with, U.S. soccer's played a big role in my career, always going to youth camps, going to different training centers. So it's been a progression all the way up from me being 13, 14 to where I am now. So I think that's cool and what the U.S. Soccer Federation's done for me, and also just the country as a whole. It provided a place for my family and everything. And they always fight to support our safety with, bravery and resilience. So, we try to go out there and do the same thing.
How do the two how does the MLS training playing complement the national team or vice versa? Do you see that is there a synergy? Do they help one another? How do you look at both segments of your career?
Yeah. That's a tough question.
Or it's all the same game and you don't
Yeah,
differentiate?
it's always the same game, but I think there's always when you're playing against teams like Serbia or you're playing against teams like Jamaica in the Gold Cup, there's a bit more intensity in those games, I would say. But I think it's pretty complementary of each other. I can't give you a defined answer on what exactly it is. I can't pinpoint anything, but both great competitions, and I try to adapt to wherever situation I'm in. And being with the U.S. here and playing international games, it teaches me a lot about myself. And same with the crew and the MLS. So both have its pros. Yeah.
Aidan, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clay. Let's go back to Pat.
Yeah, one more I forgot. With a camp of MLS guys, I think it's almost all, if not all MLS guys, does MLS Cup come up at all? I mean, the fact that you guys won, players talking about what it was like, guys who haven't experienced it, does that just come up as you guys are talking?
Yeah, for sure it does. It's nice to be the champs. But I mean, I try to not talk about it as much as I can, because we got a new year to go out there and achieve things and put our focus on 2024 now. But it's cool to see a lot of guys, they respect us and how we played. You know what I mean? There's guys who said, I knew from the first time. There's Jack McGlynn on Philly said, hey, like, I knew the first game we beat you guys 4-1. He was like, I should have put all my money on you guys. And he told someone on the bench. Yeah, there's stuff like that that's cool, kind of to see. And they respect so much in how we play and our identity and all that. So that's always cool, and it gives us a bit more pride for what we're doing and all that Wilfred's teaching us. But I try to keep myself focused on just here right now, and I got a job at hand. And yeah.
Thanks, Pat. Brianna, go ahead.
You mentioned it a little, but I want to go back to working with Sean in this U.S. Soccer's training camp. What has that been like? What have you seen out of Sean? And then also, what do you think it says about him as a player that technically he's not really a starter, main starter on an MLS team, but he could still be a part of this training camp and make it on this roster?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of him having that starting title, I mean, he played a massive role this year for our team. Whether, I don't know what you guys signify as a starter or not. I mean, I think he played maybe more minutes than Rudy did for us. But he, I knew Shawnee. I've known Shawnee for a while, and I knew when he got called up, this would be no problem for him. He's always a player who kind of adapt to wherever he's at, which is the speed of play, and he's great at that. Shawnee's the man. He's always ready for the show and to give it his all. So no surprise that Shawnee's doing well here, and I expect him to do well this weekend as well.
And one last thing I want to ask you is, what is your goals, playing with U.S. Soccer? Where do you hope this leads to in your future with U.S. Soccer continues on to?
Yeah, I think solidifying a spot in the roster with the full European team. I think that'd be cool. And, whether I do the Olympics or, I'm really impressed to where I can make it to Copa America. I think that'd be cool. But then I think the end goal is always, playing part in a World Cup, and not just playing a part, playing an important part in it. So I think that's kind of my goals for myself and individually, and just keep learning, keep growing, and keep listening to people around me along the way, and just try to be the best version of myself.
Thank you, Aidan.
Thanks, Brianna. We have Pat Schulte joining us in the room. So Gerald will take one more question for Aidan, and then we'll progress to Pat.
Aidan, you got a full year with Nazi, under your belt. Do you catch yourself out there playing his system?
Sorry, say the question again.
Do you catch yourself playing Nazi system out there when you're out there?
Oh, at
Is
the
it-
camp, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, I have to come here and adapt to what I'm being told. And I'm being told different information, but I think there's little things that Wilfred's installed in us over this past year that we were with him. In terms of little details of your game that you can carry over anywhere, whether I'm at a different team in MLS or wherever I'm at in my career. I think that he's installed great stuff into us, and so yeah, I think I've brought a little bit of it, but I have to adapt to all that Greg and the staff has told me. So
Thanks,
Great.
Aidan.
Thanks, Gerald. Aidan, appreciate the time today. Enjoy the trip.
thanks, man. Have fun, Pat.